Welcome back. Local Decision 2022. I'm Eric Nelson. Thanks for tuning us in. And we're going to talk now with Julie Jeppson, running for Anoka County Commissioner, District 6. And Julie, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I know you're already on the Blaine City Council, but you're looking to make a political pivot. Tell us about you and why you're running for Anoka County Board.
Yeah, so thanks for having me, Eric.
Yeah.
This is such an honor to be here every 4 to 2 years, part of the process. So I've been on Blaine City Council. I'm halfway through my second term. I really wanted to serve the community in a bigger, broader way. And there were back 6 years ago, there were just some decisions that were being made that I didn't think I was being represented, and the folks that I know in the community that I've grown to know and love were being represented the way they needed to be. So I ran for Blaine City Council. Fast forward 6 years later, I'm feeling the same way in that I don't think the city is being represented the way it should. I think we need to have a strong, intelligent, intentional voice at that board level because Blaine is the fastest growing city in Anoka County, if not the 7-county metro. We're the 10th largest city in the state, and we're definitely the largest one in Anoka County, and we're the biggest economic driving city in Anoka County. We need a strong voice, we need a strong advocate in that role so that we can move the projects that we want to forward for the city of Blaine and Spring Lake Park.
How will your role differ if you go from the city council to the county board?
So there are 3 very specific things that city council is responsible for: water, roads, and police. And so only one of those things the county board would be responsible for, and that's county-owned roads. The number one responsibility that the county has is towards human services. That is where the largest pot of money that taxpayer dollars go to is human services. And so having my experience of 10 years as a development director and executive director is with Stepping Stone Emergency Housing. So I've come into contact a lot with the programs and the staff that human services provides. In addition to that, there's property tax, which is always a huge topic for individuals. Everybody thinks they pay too much in property taxes and don't see enough return on that investment, as well as the sheriff's office, libraries, roads, infrastructure, and facilities.
All right, a hot button issue.
Oh yeah.
Minnesota State Highway 65. It's a huge conundrum. Something has to be done. Most of the commuters on that road would say it should have been done yesterday. Mm-hmm. Where are you on that, and how can we get it fast-tracked?
Right. Well, considering what's been happening over the last few decades, we are on a fast track right now. And that is solely because me and a couple of my colleagues at City Hall took the initiative to not wait around anymore for something to happen. We realized that we needed to take the initiative to make some really good investments, both physically and financially. And so we hired a federal lobbying team, we hired a state lobbying team, and we created those partnerships, trying to make those partnerships at the county level, trying to make those partnerships at the state and federal level. And some have worked very, very well, others not as well, but we are motivated and focused on that Trunk Highway 65 because yes, it should have been done a long time ago, but finally we're getting the initiative, the momentum, and with the dollars that we've gotten thus far because of those intentional partnerships and relationships that we've developed over the last 2 years, things are getting done, and our goal is to have shovels in the ground in 2023.
So funding sources in Washington, D.C. and in St. Paul. When you make these visits to the nation's capital or the Minnesota State Capitol, yep. What's that process like? Because I'm sure there's a long line of people going in saying, we need this for that. How do you get their ear and get on their radar?
You need really good, intentional, focused conversations with the right people. And that's where the lobbying firms came in, the federal lobbyists and the state lobbyists, because they know the right people who will open that door for us. And going to Washington, D.C. in May was pivotal for funding for our project. Me and my colleague were able to meet with Congressman Emmer, Congressman Pete Stauber. We met with Tina Smith's staff. We met with Amy Klobuchar's staff. Those are key community regional representatives of our area that have a voice and have a say in where funding goes. And so those key doors were opened, and we were able to get some significant funding and some significant traction.
All right, another major highway project is underway, finally. US Highway 10, which has been a parking lot for years in Coon Rapids, Anoka, Ramsey. Where are we on that? And when that finally is completed, what will that do for Anoka County?
So when Highway 10 is completed, it's all about traffic flow. It's all about movement of cars and movement of people so they can get from A to B in the most safe, secure, fastest way. And so removing those stoplights will be significant. It'll allow the region statewide for people to get to their jobs, for people to get to different parts of the community. Heck, when my kids were young, we'd have to take Highway 10 to sporting events. And so just getting your whole family, for one reason or another, up that highway, it will save a lot of time, energy, and provide a safe road to travel on.
All right, the county board has passed a preliminary budget with a $0 increase. Is that the right move?
Nobody likes to pay taxes. Nobody likes to pay taxes, but that's the way things get done. You have to be smart, you have to be fiscally responsible, but there has to be taxes. And my concern and what we're experiencing with the city of Blaine right now is two very specific words, and those words are deferred maintenance. If you don't have enough tax revenue coming in, you cannot maintain a high level of service, nor can you pay your employees a livable wage, nor can you grow sufficiently and maintain those high levels of service. And right now what we're experiencing is over 2 decades of deferred maintenance. That bill is coming due. And that bill is coming due specifically with water, sewer, and stormwater in the tens of millions of dollars. And that's something that the residents of Blaine cannot afford. We can't afford to raise taxes that high to pay for that amount of deferred maintenance. And so that adds a burden on, the city and the state and the federal to help us pay what that deferred maintenance has cost. It's far more fiscally responsible, respectful to the taxpayers, to make sure that our infrastructure is maintained rather than 10, 20 years down the road, repaired or replaced.
Crunching numbers, dealing with budgets. I know you have a background in that with Stepping Stone Emergency Housing in Anoka. How can that help you if you're on the Anoka County Board?
Because you have a different perspective. You have a different perspective versus needs versus wants. And what you need, the water, the infrastructure of roads and buildings and wages, you have to put your money and your priorities there. And then you have to make those really tough decisions on what are those wants, what do we hear, and what are we listening to our constituents say that they are wanting, which would bring nice amenities, nice activities, nice ways for people to stay in the community, rather than just drive through it.
The Twin Cities metro area has had really explosive growth in the last 2-3 decades. Do you view Anoka County as a shining star in this region?
Absolutely, without a doubt. Blaine is definitely the fastest growing city in Anoka County. We contributed $5.75 billion since 2013 to the economic growth of this county. It's coming. The momentum is there. The interest is there. We have leadership at the city level who is encouraging businesses to come here, and we're really, really excited about the partnership that when I win this seat, I will be able to partner with the City of Blaine, with the City of Spring Lake Park, and the other municipalities throughout Anoka County to partner with them on economic growth, to make sure that the marketing is there, to make sure that the support is there, to make sure that we're aligned regionally, and that there are shovels ready in the ground, welcoming businesses and residents to Anoka County.
And Anoka County is unique in the sense that you have some heavily populated suburbs like Coon Rapids or Blaine, but you also have exurbs that almost feel like they're from yesteryear with farm country and a rural pastoral setting. So how do you keep that balance in Anoka County?
That's a great question, and that's what's really important, so that the county has a partnership, has a collaboration with the cities, but really allowing the cities to be a city who they want to be, and step in when that partnership, when that collaboration is requested of how can the county partner with you to be the best city you want to be.
All right, so if you're on the Anoka County Board, do you think people should have more access when they attend meetings, more chances to speak? I'm sure you deal with it on the city council in Blaine, but do you think the average person who lives in Anoka County should be able to come in and have their say?
Absolutely, without a doubt. The number one question I get asked at the door is, what does a county commissioner do? No one knows. And allowing people to attend, allowing people to speak, allowing people to have a voice, we have to allow people to do that. We have to know if we're doing a good job. We have to know what decisions we need to make so that, again, we can make the cities the best that they can be and the county the best they can be. And without hearing that voice, without having that listening ears, without actively understanding people's issues and concerns that are absolutely legitimate, I can't do my job. And what else is a better place than at a board meeting or through email or through phone calls? Any way in which we can respond to residents, you have to. That's your job.
Yeah, and do you think it's good for local residents to be able to see how things work at the board level in the meetings, peel back the onion, so to speak, because then maybe they walk out, exit the meeting and say, okay, I didn't realize it took that, to accomplish this. In other words, they maybe understand your job better.
Right. So I think what is lacking a lot in politics, and this is across the board throughout the country, is transparency. And when you don't have transparency, you have questions raised. And if you're open and honest and have that transparent open door policy, you have a far better ability to justify what decisions you're making, how decisions are being made, what projects are coming up, just so people know. Half of the time when there's a concern by a constituent, they just are so upset because they don't know how the whole process works. And once that's explained to them, they calm down and they get it. But if you don't offer that platform for education and knowledge, you have a bunch of frustrated constituents that is definitely not needed.
All right, so we are post-pandemic. We've got skyrocketing inflation. These are polarized times in a lot of ways politically. You deal with stepping stone. Yeah. It's rough out there for some people, isn't it?
It's very rough. There are people in this world who really, really need some help. And a lot of the county programs in offering that help, a lot of the responsibility in offering that help is the county responsibility. And with my experience with Stepping Stone, it's not just drug addiction or sobriety or people hanging on for sobriety. It's so much mental health. 50% of the residents last year at Stepping Stone had a diagnosed mental health condition. So that is a massive campaign that has to be focused on with mental health. The Workforce Center, I've had some great relationships over at the Blaine Human Services building, especially the Career Force, I think it's called, And so getting individuals the training that they need for the jobs that are available right now. There's so many different ways of making money right now. It's not just your typical go to college or go to the trades, or there are so many opportunities out there that a lot of people just don't understand the resources that are available to them, that they can be provided the right tools that they need to earn a livable wage. And then you have the whole issue with housing. And so that housing wage gap is just going further and further apart. So the cost for housing versus what someone can earn, people are just putting more and more money from their paychecks into their housing, which then leaves off unpaid car bills, unpaid, your kids feeding your kids, the internet. All of those things are definitely essentials that people need right now, and they're just not able to make ends meet.
So in your eyes, it's critical that Anoka County tries to help prop up those people that are experiencing huge struggles.
Absolutely, because it only makes Anoka County stronger. It really does. Helping people, really meeting them where they need the help the most, only makes our community better and stronger.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by. Election day is coming up, so
It is.
we will be in contact.
Thank you so much.
All right, very good. She's Julie Jeppson, running for Anoka County Commissioner, District 6. This is Local Decision 2022.